Hello, and welcome to today's discussion on developments in education. Today we'll be looking at the feminization of education, mostly from the colonial era through modern times, though we will take a quick look at pre-colonial era as well. To orient our brains, some of the key points that we'll look at today are the male-dominated history of education, the development of females in education, both as students and as instructors, and then we'll also take a look at the future of education and gender diversity in the classroom. So we start with Augustine, who worked with his mother to establish professional learning communities. So while he didn't advocate for female education specifically, we can infer that he had some experience working with a female in a leadership role in education. Now, Martin Luther did specifically advocate for female education and also advocated for the same curriculum to be used for female and male students. Benjamin Rush and Rousseau were a little less revolutionary. They did believe that females should be educated, but more so as a benefit to men, so that females could run a household or hold interesting conversations for their husbands, more so than for the actual advancement of females themselves. Some ladies who were influential in female education development, we'll start with Mary Wollstonecraft. She argued against people like Rousseau and really stated that females have the same amount of potential and ability in the classroom and should be provided with the same opportunities as men. Catherine Beecher advocated for female educators. She was not a revolutionary for gender roles. She didn't believe that women should be outside of the home and working and that type of thing, but she did believe that females had a lot of value to bring to the classroom as educators. And finally, we have Susan Miller Dorsey. She started out as an educator and became one of the rare female administrators at her time. She also brought a lot of attention to females in administration, but also brought a lot to the education field for males and females, like benefits for teachers. So we pause here to really take a look at what the goal was specifically for these ladies who advocated for females in education. They weren't trying to usurp men or replace them in the education field, but they really advocated for the equality of value that females and males had to bring to the classroom. So where does that leave us? We know a little bit about where we've been, so where are we going? What does that look like now? A recent study showed that 76% of all public school teachers are female. So we've pretty much done a 180. We've gone from a completely male-dominated classroom to a female-dominated classroom. And another study looked into why that was, why some men were not going into the classroom, and these were some of the responses that they received. It's perceived as a woman's job now, the pay is lower, it's an uninteresting field, it doesn't further their career, and so this is kind of what we're seeing as far as why more women are in the classroom, it seems, than men. Why is that important? We worked so hard to get females into the classroom. Why can't we just be happy with that, right? Why do we care that there aren't very many men going into education? Well, really, we look back at what the goal was, again, for Mary Wollstonecraft, Catherine Beecher, and Susan Dorsey. They wanted females and males to have equal opportunity. They weren't trying to replace men in the classroom. They just wanted to be given the same opportunity and to be seen as having the same value to bring to education, which means men have value in education as well. And so these are some of the things that teachers, male and female, bring to the classroom. We bring positive role models. Men and women are needed to give positive role models to students. Different perspectives. Girls need to know what men would think about some things. Boys need to know what women would think about some things. You get a different perspective that isn't what you would have thought of before. Positive interactions. Male and female teachers in the classroom show students how positive men and women can interact with each other, and that can be very beneficial for students. And then finally, the effective presence. We all know that men and women have a different presence in the classroom, and that is very beneficial to bring both of those experiences into students' understanding. So here we are. We know that we've made some great advances for females in education as far as curriculum and as far as opportunity. We're not completely there yet as far as equality, but a lot of opportunity has been added for women in education. So now we're looking at balance.